So what does $8,000 in revenue actually look like from an SMMA perspective? I hear a lot of different people out there talking about how much money they made when it comes to their SMMA agency. And just for clarity, I run an email and SMS marketing agency. And when I hear these numbers, I can't help but think, what's the actual profit? Right? Because there are a lot of expenses that actually go into running a business. And when I first heard $10,000 a month, $8,000 a month, $20,000 a month, I thought, like an idiot, that was what it was, right? You just took home $8,000. But now, after running my own business, I realized that ain't the truth. Today I'm going to quickly break down what $8,000 look like in my business, where my expenses go, what you can expect when it comes to running your business, and just all those niggly things that a lot of people don't actually tell you about when it comes to the costs of running business. So just recently, March 2023, we had our biggest month, which, like I said, we did $8,000 in revenue, which was fantastic. But we only took home $4,000 in profit. Now I want to be clear, all these expenses I'm speaking of in New Zealand dollars. And occasionally I'm going to be looking down here. And for reference, for every $1 US, you get 1.6 New Zealand dollars back. So essentially, as a really rough estimate, just kind of half all the numbers that I'm talking about if you're thinking in US dollars. So, and also, please forgive me because I am going to be looking down at my notes every now and then. So let's go into what the actual costs are of running my business. Subcontractors is easily the biggest expense that I have. Now, just to be clear, I've made videos before about how contractor arbitrage is not a good idea, but I do hire contractors for bits of the work that I need to get done just to speed up the whole process. And so, for example, in my case, I have contractors that do template design, I have contractors that do scripting, I have contractors that do building and testing, just because that takes a lot of time and it's cheaper for me to pay somebody out to do that. And in this month, I spent $1,209 on contractors. So that's a big chunk of the $8,000 that I made gone. And it just looks like my light went out behind me, but we're gonna keep going. On top of that, I'm part of a networking group, which cost me $125 a month, not including the $1,000 joining fee that I had to pay straight off the bat. Also, I have $419 in subscription fees. So I have to subscribe to lots of different softwares that are specific to my space, right? I'm an email marketer. I have to use a software called Email on Acid, which costs $160 a month. On top of that, I have to host my website. I have to use design softwares. I have to use all these things. For example, my cold email outreach strategy requires me to pay for softwares, and I have to pay that every single month on a recurring basis. So that comes out at $419. On top of that, I have a final big expense, which was $2,343. That was fun to pay. That expense was for the new website that I've currently launched. And here's the thing, that's a one-off expense, right? And I like to think to myself, falsely, that expense isn't going to happen again, right? It's just a one-off expense. Next month will be different. But I guarantee you, when it comes to running your business, you're always going to have these big one-off expenses that come from different aspects of your business, right? This month, it was the website design. Next month, it might be getting a lead gen specialist on who's going to charge me a setup fee of $3,800. There's always going to be these one-off fees that come in that can really eat into your profit. And this is why I say it's really important to perhaps avoid contractor arbitrage when you first start off, because your margins are already going to be so thin. Now, obviously, my margins are 50%, but I also have to pay tax on that, right? So at the moment, I think I get roughly 20% taken off that $4,000. So that, God, I don't even know what that is because I'm an idiot, but that's about $800 off that again. So I have $3,200 after all of that. And then I have to live off that $3,200. And I got bills to pay. I've got a car expense that just came up recently. I've got to pay rent. And I don't want this to sound like I'm complaining or anything like that, but I just want to give you some insights into how much money you actually need to be able to be generating and what to expect when it comes to being able to be self-sufficient off of your email, or rather your marketing agency in general. And this is why I think it's so important as well to actually have a job alongside your marketing agency until you're fully ready to swing from one branch to the other, which is exactly what I did, right? I started off with my marketing agency as a contractor. I was contracting into another marketing agency rather, and then after a while I gradually transitioned into being an agency owner, which is where I'm 95% of my time is currently in. Now, also, just a little bit of context as well. This month sounds amazing, right? It's so easy to look at this in isolation, right? Like an $8,000 month, amazing. $4,000 profit, amazing. $3,200 after tax, amazing, right? That's cool. But you have to factor in over a 90-day period as well, right? And this is why it's really important to look at things quarterly. And if you actually factor this in quarterly, last month I made a loss of $3,000. So when you look at it like that, I've actually been working for free for the past 2 months. Now, I'm not once again begrudging this by any means, but what I'm saying is, and obviously all the work that I've currently done will exponentially increase my business as time goes on. I'm setting a lot of foundations, and let's be honest, any small business when you're first starting, you're gonna have to eat some shit for like at least the first year, and I'm totally willing to do that. But this is another thing that I think you have to be kind of mindful of when you extrapolate the data over a longer period of time, when all these gurus come in and say, hey, you're gonna make $20,000 in 120 days and all this bullshit. That is probably possible, I'm not going to lie, but there's got to be a lot of special circumstances that come about to make that a possibility. Perhaps it's existing connections, and just to be clear, I pretty much started from scratch. No clients. I had a small network that I couldn't actually leverage because I signed non-competes. I didn't have any other kind of baseline to build myself off of, so I had to like scratch it out. Now, obviously, you know, I'm middle class, so I had that as well. I'm not saying I came from the dirt, but I wish I did, because it would be a pretty sick origin story. But anyway, you just have to kind of be aware that it takes a long time to kind of get to these numbers more often than not. And I think sometimes these course creators, perhaps they did have one student that did get to 100K in 3 months, but that is very, very rare. And odds are, you're probably not going to be that person, and you have to be willing to look at this long game. Anyway, I hope that helps. I just wanted to give some insight into kind of what it looks like for me. Keen to hear your guys' feedbacks. Is my experience similar to your experience? What are your thoughts? Once again, this channel is not about me being an authority figure. I really am just trying to explain what I've learned through my process with my agency, and perhaps you can use some of those lessons to learn yourself as well. And then also, once again, I'm keen to get educated. So if you have any thoughts, please check them in the comment section. Love your feedback. Also, if you're happy with the video, give it a like, subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. And we're slowly growing. At the time of recording, I think we're at 46 subscribers, which is sick. So thanks again, guys. Any questions, shoot me a message. And if you want to check out my website, go ahead and click the link below. Link with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Instagram. Cheers, guys. Bye.